Hello, hello, hello. What's good, everybody? It is Thursday night, and we're going to keep this party train moving. We're going to roll right through this next series, Only Murders in the Building. And of course, the man coming down this road with me tonight is the realest detective of them all. What's good tonight, Phantom?
Yo, here to talk about again the only murders in the building with the true Lannister. Oh my gosh, man. Who would have thought Oliver was a Lannister?
Oh, it's so funny because it does seem like you're kind of leaning towards the Oliver character, and I think I'm leaning more towards the Charles character. And of course, AK falling with the Celine. It's just amazing. Yeah, it's funny how it rolls down. And then of course, your character is going to roll out with the Lannister emblem on his car. The fact you even noticed that just blew me away.
It was crazy. I was just like casually just looking at the car. I'm like, wait a minute. Is that a Lannister lion right there?
Oh no, he didn't. Of course, he's going to correlate that to a Lannister. Always something coming back to Game of Thrones. That's just how we do around here. But we're going to get into it. Only Murders in the Building, Season 1, Episode 5, and this one's just called Twist. Oh, and right out the gate, if nothing else, we see Mabel can handle herself. Should have known, a woman living alone in the city is going to be able to get down and protect herself, and she did just that. She had no qualms with a man following her.
Yo, she got off the wrong stop and went down on 25th, which is pretty much like the last. Is it? Yeah, like 125th is like Manhattan, then it's like up. But if she continued to go like down to like the Bronx, oh, she could definitely handle herself.
Oh, she was doing her thing. And knowing she walks around with sewing needles doesn't exactly go a long way in proving her innocence.
Yeah, that's another thing too. And just seeing how this season opened up to a dead body in front of her, it's like, was that the murderer or not?
It's almost like that's the most obvious, so we just kind of swept it away like it can't be, but it keeps kind of flashing back like maybe that's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, but Oliver is just besides himself. He's just giddy that he finally has the truly juicy lead that he's been looking for, with her being the new lead of the murder. It's like this man cannot. I mean, I don't know. He is just to the fullest at all times.
I mean, they need some more episodes, and right now at this point, they really have no suspects. Like the last one they had was what you might call it, Sting. That didn't even pan out.
Oh man, I thought it was gonna be the superstar murderer, but nope, no second lives here. And then we flash back to Mabel, and we see that the man she took down is none other than Oscar, her friend that just got released from prison. And she asked, why is he stalking her like a creeper? And he didn't exactly have a good answer for her. And also, why did he wait a week before contacting her?
I was thinking the same thing, and seeing how I'm sure if this episode, oh yeah, this episode and next episode like coincides with each other. It's like, why wait so long? Like, what were you doing behind the scenes?
Something don't add up. And then he lies to
He,
her again later. It's like
mhm.
something's not add up with this man. And did you notice the hoodie, right out of the gate, the hoodie he was wearing was indeed tie-dye?
Uh-huh. Finally got the identity of Mr. Tie-Dye guy.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. And then Charles and Oliver seem to be rushing somewhere. Where were they rushing to? They only saw Mabel by chance while they were running amok outside. Where were they running to in such a hurry?
I think they were running towards her. And
But
then
they
by
were
chance,
looking for her. They said, Lester, the door guy, said he saw her go this way, so they were running. But I mean, so you just think they were just looking for her and just going to run around outside until they hopefully ran into her?
yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
And
that
then
just
Charles finally got his hat back. How did he lose it? I forgot about that.
yeah, I don't remember that one. I was like, that was something they threw in, but they must have been tying up some kind of thing with that. But yeah, I don't remember him losing it either. Oh man, I like how they slid in another New Yorkerism though. When they show Charles and all, that Oliver had a car and was even more blown away by the fact that he paid for parking at the Arconia. I heard some of them parking spots up in NYC are more expensive than the condos themselves that come with them.
Almost definitely. To the point that it's like, just at that point, ride the bus or train. Don't even bother.
Just way too expensive to own a vehicle up there, huh?
And the way how he said, like, you pay for parking here within the hotel, it's like, it must be even more expensive.
No, exactly. That's what I'm
That
saying.
should be included in the rent, possibly, but not the rent. Yeah, but nope, not at all.
That's great. Just two different sides of the nation right there. I could not imagine living without a vehicle. Not being able to just get in my car and go at any point in time. I cannot imagine. not having that.
But like for you, it's like the distance between like your place and like the mall or supermarket and such. For us, sometimes it's just like literally like down the block.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of wild. But I mean, do you have malls and movie theaters like that close to you?
Well, within the city, you do.
I mean, that's
It's
pretty
outside the city that's the problem.
right. And I mean, then of course it'd be cheaper to have a vehicle. But yeah, like where I
Mhm.
live, everything is 5 minutes away. The mall, the theater. I got two Costco's that are like literally 5, 7 minutes away. Like it's amazing.
By
Actually,
car, but if you think you don't got a car, that's like what
right.
30 minutes to an hour almost.
Yeah. See, and
And
that's
then you got highways.
oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. To get yeah, there's highways everywhere. So yeah, just crazy, different way of living. Two totally different styles. It's so wild. But also the fact that he told Charles to run after them, like when they did find Mabel, and he's like, "Run after them and call, and I'll come pick you up." I'm like, okay, one, you are 70 some years old. Like, how long is it going to take you to even get to the car? And two, Charles is even older. Like, how is he going to run the streets of New York keeping up with a driving vehicle? I was like, oh, the ridiculousness of it all.
You underestimate them both, man. You underestimate them.
Unless they're undercover track stars, I'm just not buying it. I was like, come on, this is just not feasible.
And he was able to get a pretzel on top of that.
Right? He wouldn't stop for snacks.
I
Like,
never had a pretzel with a mustard though, and I had to like I might try it one time. I don't know.
I don't know. That doesn't sound like my cup of tea, but too much. Oh, with the nacho cheese though, I remember those were good.
Yeah.
Oh man, so Oliver has a car and pays for a parking spot at the Arconia, yet doesn't even have a license. Like Oliver, waste money much?
I know, and I'm like, no one. Hey, at least they never pulled him over, so he must be a good driver. But at the same time, it's like he doesn't like drive all the time because he literally says that I don't think that he ever drove the car during the winter before.
Right.
It's only during the summer.
And I don't even know how often he did that.
Because it literally at the first time ever, it broke down in this episode.
Oh, it's too much. And did you notice when he made Charles drive that he got in the back seat?
Hmm.
I was like, what a dick. It's like, I am not your chauffeur. You better get your ass in here. Oh man, this ain't Uber. Oh, Oliver, rightly so, doesn't trust Mabel as far as he can throw her, but Charles feels like there must be a reason that she lied. Like, how come he's so trusting of her?
I don't know. It's either that or it's like one. Because ever since he mentioned in the previous episode about like how about that other chick that he
Lucy?
used to date, yeah, it's like I don't even know if that's even true or not. And if so, well, yeah, because in that Lucy thing,
Yeah, the whole
wasn't it
Lucy.
like he had like a tight relationship with like her daughter? So it's
Right.
almost like possibly with that with Maple.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what it is. It's kind of
Yeah.
like he's correlating those two relationships. He misses Lucy and she's kind of filling that void. I think that's
Mm.
exactly what it is. And speaking of trust, why did Oscar just lie to her again, saying that he was heading up the stairs to see her that night when he went straight to Tim Kono's door? He was lying. Why?
Man, you can't trust anyone in this damn show.
I'm not trusting him for nothing. I was like, he just straight up lying and doesn't have any good answers when Mabel asks him. Like, man, I don't know. She's just like struck in the past, so she's not seeing straight or thinking straight when it comes to him. Like, I don't know about this kid.
Honestly, to think of it now, I won't be surprised if Oliver was actually in his father's apartment when Mabel went to go visit the father that day. Maybe that's why he had like the door not fully open.
Oh, Oscar was in there. That could be.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, well, I said Oliver for my bad.
No, that definitely could be. Maybe he was in there. And how about when Oliver's like breaking it down on Charles about why he can't accept it about Mabel, and then he stops and he's like, "No, that all sounded too fake. I have to record that again." Charles is just all feeling it up in his feelings. He's like, "You."
I just love that.
Oh,
Every so
that,
often you think like someone's having like a serious moment, and then Oscar's there. He's like, "Oh, say it again in a different tone or this and that." It's like, come on.
oh, that was a laugh out loud moment for me. I was loving it. That was killing me. He's like, "You fuck," he was so into it. He's like, "Yeah, maybe that is it." Like, you bastard.
Hell, he
Oh,
could be the murderer honestly this whole time. You know,
who's that?
Oliver could literally be the murderer this whole time. You don't even know.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. I got all eyes on everybody. And once they all stop at a gas station, Charles realizes Mabel's not kidnapped, like as she's laughing and looking like she's having just a great time with the tie-dye guy. And I love how Oliver's all, don't worry, she got me too, and I'm the one with street smarts. Like, just stop it. Then Oliver trying to patronize the two guys, helping them, like when he's all telling them, like, "Oh, you have a podcast too? Like giving it the old college try, huh?" They're like, "Yeah, we got about 60,000 subs."
They just look at each other and they're like, oh wait, we got to top this some way somehow. Like, oh, well, we know, like, was it her name Sydney? Or and then it's like, oh, we know her too. Like she's one of like the third homies. They're like, damn it, like, there's no winning with us.
Oh, they got no street cred, no doubt. Talking about with their 17 subs, like, oh man. So they all show up to her sketchy cousin's tattoo shop, and Charles has some questions for her, and she had a lot of nerve, like, to be acting so offended. Like, I'd have been like, look, who's been lying to who, keeping stuff from who, little lady? Like, let's settle down here. Like, all cards on the table. But they talk it out and enough to ease like his mind back from her being the murderer. And she also tells him the tie-dye guy isn't the murderer either. And then he admits to lying to her about coming to see her that night. Like he said he was ready to fuck Tim up, but not murder him. Like, do you believe him at this point?
I honestly do believe him, but does he have the part to play in it? No. So he's so far in the clear for now.
So far, so you're not buying it at Tim either. You think tie-dye guy is clean?
Yeah, he's clean for now.
He also
Something happened in the past though, for sure, when it came to the death of his girlfriend. That I know for sure. But this whole Tim death, nah, his hands is clean on that.
because I mean, he also said that he heard a gunshot, which puts him at the unseen, which puts him unseen at the spot of the murder at the exact time of the murder. Like, I don't know, did he do it?
For what I know, he probably could have seen the murder. Because when it happened, didn't he say he went inside of a room or something? So he could have like seen the people or something. I don't know.
So he might actually know who it is.
What an idea.
We also find out that Tim was afraid that he might get murdered. Like he had told Mabel's cousin as much. So he was already afraid of getting murdered. So he knew something was up. So I don't know. Had Oscar already gone to visit him and or called him and let him know he was on his way to see him? So that's why he was afraid of getting murdered. But we also find out that Tim was afraid they might get murdered. So I don't know. Well, just when we think that we're getting some answers, we end up with more questions because now we find out that Tim was trying to take down some black market jeweler, which didn't seem plausible until Mabel dumped a full bag of swag that she'd taken from his apartment on the table. So now we just got all kinds of questions coming up. Like, what is really going on with this thing?
Exactly. I thought those were just mementos of them being the Hardy Boys and thing. Next, now it's like, oh, he's taking down like this black market thing. I'm like, what? What kind of show am I watching now?
I was like, where are they going with this? Like, yeah, they trying to pull it all in. Well, but that was the episode. What'd you think of this when we were talking in the back? Like, it's almost kind of like you blinking an eye and it was over. Like, did we just?
Yeah, this to me, this felt like the first filler episode. You know, it had its good like laughs here and there, give us like few like answers, but with one answer, hit us with more questions type thing.
Yeah, especially like, okay, we thought tie-dye guy might actually be a thing, but now it's not a thing. And I don't know, Mabel was kind of like when Charles was thinking back about it, Mabel was kind of trying to talk him out of tie-dye guy. So what? Maybe she is on it. Maybe she does know something. Like all is not what it seems to me, is what I'm thinking.
Yep. At least by the end of this episode, like the only suspect right now is the black market guy, whoever he or she is.
Black market.
I won't be surprised if it's what is her name? Sydney? Is it Sydney or something else? We want to see that on the other podcast.
Cinda.
Yeah, there we go. Cinda
Canning.
Yep. I won't be surprised if it's her. Since her freaking name is in everything, then boom. That's how she gets money for these damn podcasts.
Looking
connections and whatnot.
Oh.
I'm going with her right now. It's my number one suspect.
I like it. I like it. Thinking outside the box. Boom. Oh, man. Well, that's episode 5. We got just a couple quick trivia questions before we get on to 6. If you know these questions, put them in the chat box. If you're watching later, put them in the comments down below. How long had Oscar been away in jail?
A week ago.
No, he got out a week ago.
Oh, how long he's been in there? I think it was like, 10 years?
Absolutely. There we go. Back on track. How long ago did Oliver say his driver's license had expired?
25.
25 years ago, 2 for 2. What did Oliver name his car?
Aphrodite.
Oh, look at him go, just breezing right through. Can we go 4 for 4? How many DVD sets did Oscar say were in the prison library?
That I don't know.
Ah, boom, that was a deep
When
dive.
he mentioned it, then he was like, "Oh, first of all, it sound like torture. If it had is,
It
too
sounds like
sure."
hell.
Oh my
That
gosh!
was
But hell, if they had Splash in there some way somehow,
right, exactly.
newspaper article or something.
Oh man, yep. I had to get one deep dive in there just in case you were doing what you were doing. That 3 for 3, got to knock one up. And last but not least, what was Mabel's cousin that owned the tattoo shop's name?
Peanut?
Good guess, incorrect.
Damn, don't know.
Oh man, not bad. 3 for 5, absolutely passing. Not too shabby. Gonna knock that one out and just absolutely keep it moving. We got Only Murders in the Building, Season 1, Episode 6. This one's called Protect and Serve. And we open with a little background plug of our lady detective, and she seemed like a little snippy with wifey when she got home. Like, she gave a decent excuse of why, but it still didn't, like, totally add up for me. Like, I don't know, why is she being so nasty to that beautiful little wifey she got there?
Well, first and foremost, I'm surprised we're even getting like a sub story with this damn detective. Like this better go somewhere. If not, they really could have just cut this out of this whole season and like nothing would have changed whatsoever. And what was the name? Cream. Like that's the name this child or something like that. Cream. Like after like Cream should do at the bar.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, what in God's name? If I was getting ready to have a kid and a freaking baby mama got to name that, I'm like, get out of here, stop it, just stop it. I honestly agree with that detective there. But yeah, but she was like snippy mainly, not on purpose though, because she just came back from that case and it was like a dead kid. So and she's trying to get out of her cigarette habit and trying to quit smoking is like difficult as hell. Who knows how long she's been smoking?
Right. Yeah, she was quick to walk out on her pregnant wife, though, that had been waiting all day for her to get home. Like, where was she going? To kill somebody else? Like, I don't know. Is that the reason they put this in? Is she going to end up being the murderer?
Nah.
It's like, because I'm with you. Like, why did we need this scene? Like, where is this coming from? Like, why did we need the backstory? See, this is why we need AK here. She would show us. From a lady's point of view, I'll tell you why we need this in. Yeah, because yeah, I was like, what? Unless, of course, she's the murderer. So maybe that's what had me thinking. Like, why are they showing us all this? But back at the tattoo shop, we find out that Tim had a meeting with the maybe would-be killer today, and just then it gets even more convoluted as Mabel's mom walks in, and she is not happy that Mabel came to town and did not phone home. Like,
That's
mom,
like every mom's right there. Like he been literally out of town and come back in town, don't say anything. Like literally one time I went to like literally go visit my parents' neighborhood and literally my mom was like, wait a minute. So you literally came near the house, couldn't drive by, say hello, buy a soda, nothing. Like, oh my bad.
it's like I was busy and I'm sorry. Yep, well, Mama's never gonna have it on that. So the four of them head back to Mama's for a hot meal, and Mama is not happy with these two geriatrics dragging her daughter back to her darker days. And what are you two, like 80? I was like, Mama's just going for low blows. She is not having it. And then after being second guessed by wifey back at the place, Detective Williams decides to take a second look over the Arconia case, and she soon realizes that she did make some mistakes, like not getting the phone to IT and not getting the toxicology report submitted. So she's like, don't second guess me. But then all of a sudden she goes back and finds out that, yeah, she is. So is this just her kind of like, does she have twin personalities, or was this really an honest mistake, or what's going on with all that?
Hopefully it was an honest mistake and she was like overworked. If not, uh-oh.
Maybe. And then she talks about it, and then she's like, well, you don't ask questions about this. So maybe she did realize that it wasn't getting looked, and she was just quick to look the other way.
Yeah, think about all these other damn cases out there the same way.
Yeah. Powers to be don't want to do it, and they want to do it a shut case. It's a shut case. Like, you don't ask questions. So it seems like that's the track she's on, which I don't know. Almost makes her worse. But usually Mama knows best, and she did not want Mabel to have anything to do with that podcast. But how did she know that it wasn't a great therapy session for her, like being on it and working through some of those old emotions with new friends?
Well, one, it's like it's still dealing with the murder, and it's like it seems like that's her only child, I think. So it's like to be on the safe side, it's like just don't put her anything in this business. Because right now, before then, it was like her other friend that died, and literally at that building. Tim now died at that building. It's her baby, and now Oscar. That's like the only two. If she continues with this, one of them may end up dying. If Oscar's next, a matter of time before she could be end up dying. So it's like you might as well just end this now.
Is that what's going to happen? Do we have just like a one of those where they're just picking them off one by one, like somebody's coming back after them, like somebody like another kid? Is that what's going to happen? Is that the killer we haven't met yet? It's some
Yeah,
fifth kid that
it
like
seems like it's either like I think it's gonna be just more than one person because it has to be this black market person, and I think it's another person as well because it just so happens that the was it the Hardy Boys members are like being picked off seems like one by one.
that's what I'm like. Is it like maybe a fifth member that they used to tease as a kid that they wouldn't let hang out? So now that kid like grew up all psycho and now is coming back for revenge on them.
Could be.
Feel it? You never know. You never know. But while deciding what to do next with the podcast, Oliver gets a text from their new sponsor, and he seems to be upset about something. And it's odd enough that Oliver talks Charles into going to the meeting with him. He's just scared to go down there. He's like, I'm not trying to face this man by myself. So Charles is like, oh, they're starting to actually be buddies. And then the detective admits that there's some things that are off about the case, but that she's not willing to get involved. And I gotta say, I'm keeping both eyes on this one from now on. Like, why is she trying to stay so far away? Why wouldn't she want to know the details of this?
I'm curious if she might get in trouble, like if anything.
I mean, that's
I
kind
don't
of
know.
what she says, but that just seems like a convenient excuse to me. But who knows? And while we're
That
looking,
or maybe she actually did put in the report correctly and someone tampered with the evidence.
that's possibility. Possibility. I like, and that's actually kind of likely. So while looking at photos and reminiscing over old times, Mabel spots another clue. The same ring Tim was looking for before he got murked was the same ring Zoe was wearing the night that she got murked. So
See? It's
we
either
got,
the same person or
got
it's two people.
we got a correlating piece though. Either way, we got something that's showing like, wait a
And
minute.
then like Oscar was like, let's talk about something else. I don't want to like talk about this anymore. And I'm like, hold up, hold up, hold up. Why now you want to just like,
Why you being
divert the conversation and talking about like then he ends up like kissing Maple and crap. Like, So this whole time it was just like, a love triangle between them, which there was hints at that. I believe it was what the second episode, I think, when we first got like all of the Hardy Boys flashback. Because he commented on Maple's dress and then his girlfriend got jealous and whatnot.
right? No, yeah, there was definitely a buzz there from day one. So yeah, this
And it was
was.
like in the previous episode, he was like, "Oh, you don't want your boyfriend to know that I'm here." When Charles kept calling, and she's like, "Oh, I don't have a boyfriend."
Well, I know if she gets that freaky, if she finds that ring, she better not put it on. That's all I know. I think
I don't
bad
know.
luck. I don't like it.
So at this point, it's like if she was like had feelings for like Oscar this whole time, it's like then what was the whole thing with her and Tim then? The whole back and forth and the return thing. It's like what was it?
Well, maybe that was it. He must have known that she actually liked him the whole time, or something, or
And
maybe
that's
that's why.
why he was like denouncing her and crap.
Yeah, maybe absolutely that could be. Because why would he do that? We never got an answer for that. Like, why all of a sudden is he just yelling at her, staying away to stay away? Like, there's got to be something up with that, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, they definitely got some more answers to fill in. But
Damn
clues,
you, DJ, with the answers, man.
but clues must needs wait because this kid's been locked up for over a decade and it's loving time. And is that what this like it is? Because it seems like he seems dead set on not talking about the case that's had him locked up for years. Like, is that because he is guilty?
Could be. I know he's guilty of something. What specifically, I'm not 100% sure.
No.
So at first, I thought that he was the one who did push his ex off the roof, but now I'm like, did he? It's like I'm at 80-20. 80-20. That second person possibly was the one who pushed him off with that 20%. But 80% he probably did push. But then that's why the whole Tim said that he saw something. So it's like, what did you actually see? Did you see Oscar push her, or you just saw something that looked like Oscar, and maybe that's why the whole guilt thing of like, dang, I kind of like put my friend in jail, but in reality, it wasn't. Because maybe it was like, hey, you saw something, and maybe you should say something. But then he's trying to take down that black market person. Did he see the black market person?
Is that who killed
Maybe
it?
that's yeah, maybe that's why he's in this game or something. Maybe that's why he wants to take this person down. Because like, wait a minute, you're the person who actually killed my friend X amount of years ago. Since I
Well,
can't get you for that murder, I'm gonna get you for something else.
so is that how he got all those jewels? Because the aftermarket person
Yeah,
paid him off with those jewels, and it is the aftermarket person that's the murderer.
that or you're just working with him or her.
All right. I like that. I like the way that's going. I like that. Check that. So Charles and Oliver head down to Teddy's only to find out that Jimmy Fallon was interviewing Cinda and she was talking about them. And just when Oliver thought he was heated, he sees that Teddy is elated about the fact that he heard his name come out of Fallon's mouth. He's ready to write them a check for 3 more episodes. And of course, Oliver's all pumped up, but Charles tried to refuse the money, saying it wouldn't be right for Mabel's sake. But Teddy tells him a story about his yaya and says he even has a different business in her name. Like, what business is that?
At first, when I first watched this, I'm like, what in the world is going on here? Because again, in the blink of an eye, this episode goes by. So I'm like, was this purpose? What's the purpose of this whole yaya thing with this damn coin? Even say that the father would even like freaking pass it on to him. Yeah, I'd probably have to dig it out of his grave. But then I saw the second time, I'm like, oh, so this is the whole point of this damn Yaha thing with this freaking coin thing. At least this made more sense in the whole detective freaking subplot with this damn Kareem thing, damn naming the kid Kelvin. No, not Kelvin, Keith.
Yeah, they were going for Kareem, but landed on Keith. But that makes like I don't know what is this business that makes so much money he can just like hand out checks for $50,000 without even blinking an eye.
Yeah, that's why Oliver goes to him.
Yeah, he's got the money obviously, and
And
after a
explains
little,
why he's always like giving money to Oliver.
he just got it. Well, I mean, if he had enough like for people to come to him to try to back like Hamlet and La Miserables and all those, like obviously he's a money man. Like obviously he makes cash. And then Oliver talks him out of them all, just like would have been the biggest hits of his life. Just, yeah, get away from this man. He's no good for you. But after a little walk down memory lane, Mabel's mama realizes she'll never be able to let things go if she doesn't see it through to the end. So she nods her consent, and it looks like our girl's going to be back on the team. And we never really thought she was going to stay gone for long, did we?
Not at all.
She had to be part of it. Like the crew is too good together. And of course, after being talked about on Jimmy Kimmel, our cruise podcast absolutely goes viral and blows up. So now they have to keep going, but they don't want to profit from their friend's misfortune. But that's not going to last. Oliver's going to find a way to silver tongue that. He wants that money. That's a dog with a bone right there. He's not going to let that cash go by.
Oh, she almost forgot in the previous episode. This freaking when they were singing in that car about saggy bottom balls. Is that some type of old song or something? You ever seen that random? I'm like, what in the world was that?
Yeah, I don't know what that was from. Maybe that's a song that he sang or something on something else, like an ode to something. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, that was kind of random. It had to be a callback to something. They wouldn't have just put that in for nothing. Yeah, it was funny and quirky, but still not fitting unless it actually referred to something. But lucky for them, Mabel comes busting through the door right on time, and gotta love how well they're like all getting to know each other. Like how Charles knew the reason Oliver's phone wasn't refreshing because it was on airplane mode, or like how Mabel brought Oliver expired hummus and then looked him right in the eye saying, "Don't front. We both know you're gonna eat it."
Oh my gosh! Like, he knows he was going to as well. Oh
He
my
didn't even
god!
try to deny it, not even a little bit. So Mabel apologizes for all her lying and says she wants to finish the podcast. And she even has a new clue. Somebody left Tim Kono's phone for her at the front desk. And then Charles shows that they figured out a big new clue as well. There's a new sponsor. Their new sponsor is now their new number one suspect. And I was like, what a great last line for an episode. And then fade to black. That was just perfect, right on point.
It was.
That was so tight. So they got the new suspect, Angel. They think their sponsor, Teddy, is the actual killer now. What do we think about that?
Well, history shows nearly the end of the episode, and then it's one suspect. Next episode shows up. That's not the murderer. So don't think it's that person just yet. At this point, episode 9 or 8, we're gonna get the actual person near the end of the episode. They're gonna be like, "Oh shoot, so it actually is you." Nope, I'm gonna say 9. 9.
Actual 9. So do you think we've actually met the murderer by now?
If it's my guess, if it's the podcast lady, yeah,
There we go.
she's my number one suspect right now.
We're going with Cinder. We're not going with number one suspect Teddy. Oh no, talking about this
Nah,
Yaya
too
extra
soon.
business and got all this extra money, and I don't know. Where's all this money coming from? What kind of business you got going on, Theodore? Like inquiring minds want to know. Oh man, but that's it for episode 6. I actually only knocked out what we answered most of the trivia questions going through the episode, so we just got one more. How many subscribers did Oliver? Oh, I answered this one too, but we'll knock it out. How many subscribers did Oliver say they were up to these days?
I know it was like 200 and something, right?
Oh, incorrect. And now I'm talking before they went viral.
Oh, was it like 12?
Incorrect.
It was like very low. Or was it 4 or 5?
Wasn't quite that low. What's up, Peter Griffin? I see you out there. Oh, is this show rated R? It is not. Any Selena Tyrion God series? Oh, they are not, but it is quirky and fun. And yeah, if you haven't checked it out, you should watch it. It's a fun little ride trying to figure out who the murderer is. Kind of like Clue, but just quirky and weird. And yeah, I don't know, just Steve Martin and Martin Short at their finest. And with Selena, it is just a perfect little trio combo. Like their chemistry is spot on. Loving the show. Absolutely loving it. Well, that's going to do it for us. We'll definitely be back on next Tuesday for 7 and 8 and just keep this train moving, and then probably knock out 9 and 10 on Thursday and just be right through this season just like that. So I hope everybody out there is having an absolutely fantastic weekend, and it only gets better from here. You guys be easy.